problem with that. Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today you have the Rhino, and we're looking at a beer from Innocente, from the Innocente Brewing Company. This here is the little neck tag for it. It is 5.7% alcohol. It is a coffee oyster stout. A coffee oyster stout. What do we have on here? We have oysters from Codley's Catch and the coffee from Death Valley's Little Brother. I met the guys from Death Valley's Little Brother over there one time. They were making a cold pressed coffee. They're really cool guys. So let's pop it. Ooh, that's a lot of carb. A lot of combination. Yeah, that's a problem without you. Oh. Okay, that should be good. We might have one side that has some bubbles stuck to it. Apparently when I dried this cup out, I had it laying on the side. I saw watermarks before I even poured. It looks okay. Since it's the side that's facing me that would have had the mark. And it just has like 2 or 3 in there, so that's good. 2 or 3 little bubbles. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Okay, so an oyster stout made with oysters. As you guys know, my first oyster, well, as some of you would know, my very first oyster stout I had was from the UK, and it wasn't. And I was scared because I'm looking at it and I'm like, ooh, a beer made with oysters, that kind of disgusts me. I don't know how I feel about that. And then it turned out that oyster stout wasn't actually made with oysters. It was made to pair with oysters. And it's called an oyster stout. So I always see these oyster stouts and I'm like, oh, is it made with oysters or not? But from that day on, I don't think I ever had another oyster stout that was made without oysters. I think that was the only one I've ever had. And so yeah, the norm is for the oysters to be in there. In today's brewing, I don't know if it is the norm from traditional brewing, because I just don't care enough about oyster stouts. I don't. I'll try them. I'm usually intrigued by them, but I usually don't love them. But this is a coffee oyster stout, so it might cut that slightly salty taste out for me. Okay. A little bit of like a brine scent, and lots of coffee, lots of black coffee, lots of high-end black coffee. Oh yeah. It has a beautiful, beautiful smell, but also a scary smell at the same time. As the smell, this is the type of coffee smell that I get whenever I drink, say, Péché Mortel. And as you guys know, Péché Mortel is just too much coffee for me. It's that I know that Death Valley's here in Ontario, but it has that like deep, dark, like Nigerian coffee smell. Just weird, sweet, and coffee-like at the same time, like sweet and bitter at the same time. And I know that's good coffee, but it's just not my thing normally. But let's try it. Cheers. Actually, all in all, this is a pretty good little beer. Not great, not as good to me as some of the other beers that Steve has made, but this is actually a nice little beer. Coffee, lots of coffee, little chocolate, little coffee, almost mocha-like taste. Nice creamy coffee feel with a roasted coffee finish. That roasted coffee finish also mingles with that salty brininess that I get from oysters. Medium mouthfeel, nice little sweet coffee and sweet malt forefront, a salty brine and coffee middle, and then a black chocolate, like a dark chocolate, a roasted coffee, and a slightly salty finish. All in all, it's a well-rounded beer. It actually takes 2 stouts that I'm not usually a big fan of. I don't usually love coffee stouts, and I don't usually love oyster stouts. I love myself some chocolate stouts and regular stouts and Irish stouts and dry stouts, and I love stouts. Coffee and oyster are the two styles of stout that I'm usually not a huge fan of, and of the two, oyster is the one I dislike more than coffee. And it takes those two stouts and it mixes them together into something I actually enjoy. Yeah, I'd say I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I'd drink it again. It actually tastes okay. It tastes good. There's nothing wrong with it. This is just where my personal tastes don't mingle with the beer. The beer, there's nothing wrong with the beer. The beer is actually a well-made beer. It's just not a beer that I love, and it's just the way it is. It doesn't. I can't love everything, and I don't love this. It's a well-made beer. If I was going to say, is there faults in it or anything like that, if I was marking it on that, no, then it would be 10 out of 10. There's no faults in it. But I just don't personally like it all that much. A 7 out of 10. Thank you, guys. Mutter Shucker, but the name is fucking awesome. Bye.